great evening. Oh my goodness, I'm just watching The Silent Twins about June and Jennifer Gibbons. And they never spoke to anybody except for each other. So they could speak, and they were quite intelligent, but they just, locked themselves up with each other. And they were put in a institution for, I think it said like 12 years they were there. And they talked to each other and said, well, we'll never be free unless one of us dies, okay? So they talked amongst themselves, and the one decided to die. And she did, just of a, inflammation of the heart, something that happened and just was gone, okay? Now, I wanted to pull some cards on them, and it's interesting what I got. Now, they were living in Wales, and they were the only black family in the village where they lived, okay? So I'm sure that they felt sort of isolated, but such an odd story. I guess they were writing things, and I guess finally they just published something that the one girl had written. Now, the one girl, she died when she was 29 years old. And I guess from that point, I'll watch the rest of it, but I guess at that point, the other one would communicate with other people. Just so odd. So what I got for the cards, the overarching theme was the strength of justice. Strength of justice. So we got with that, them attempting to balance and juggling things in their world when it came to the fullness of it, having control over it, okay? So they would, again, they were juggling this when it came to the fullness of their lives and what was going on. So emotionally, things were coming in that they just weren't happy about. It was difficult. Was a lot of stuff up in the air, just, a lot of emotions, a lot of drama. So they kind of walked away and isolated in their own world of fishtails and drama and retreated into their into their emotions. So very interesting. Mentally, they had strong minds, strong opinions, but, some of the mental stuff could be overwhelming. And it could be part of it that they felt, again, isolated, being the only black girls in that area. They could have felt like, perhaps they were being bullied, etc. So they retreated mentally and emotionally into each other. When it came to the actions, they struggled with it. They wanted some victory. So they talked, amongst themselves about this, that one basically had to leave and die for the other one to continue forward, for rapidly to continue forward with her journey. In order to have a victory, one of them had to go. So I thought it was just a really interesting read with them. And so who knows why? Now it said that they did leave things for the younger sister. I guess they would record things for her. Whether they actually spoke with her one-to-one, I haven't heard that yet. Now, they did have kind of a crush on this one guy, and at the moment they are at his house, and he's kind of starting to give them cigarettes and drugs and stuff, so I guess they got into that for a while. they said, they have to understand love in order to write about it. They have to understand these things. So they went to see this guy. So what all's going to happen on that front, I don't know. But they started getting into the drugs and things. Now, at one point, they thought they would separate them. When they separated them, it said they both became catatonic. Okay? So that didn't work. They thought they were a bad influence on each other, so they'll separate them. But, when they become catatonic, that wasn't working. So then they brought them together, and I guess at that point, they put them in that institution where they remained for 12 years. And then... again, they talked about it, and the one, I think it was Jennifer, decided she would sacrifice her life so the other one could go forward and live a more normal life. Just the craziest story. But it looks like, I also did the Lenormand, and it looks like they retreated into this. One thing, I guess, because of the bullying and that type of stuff, but they had this contract with each other, like they were married to each other, this contract, and that was it. They just entered this. They wouldn't talk with anyone else, wouldn't communicate with them at all. They were quite intelligent, and would only speak with each other. Such an odd thing. Oh, I did get the turtle for them. They went forward, and they had the marriage thing with each other. This move forward. Okay, when it came to the guy, and they lived at home, there were some endings that happened, and they retreated into that kind of shell, like the turtle. They kind of retreated into it and were friends just with each other. That was it. Okay? And above, they had their own language. They had their own way of communicating. And they cut the things of the outside world because this was something they struggled with, okay, as young women. Okay? They had their dark side when it came to community, and a bit of maybe brushing things under the carpet, and they picked a divergent path when they were home. Okay, so again, interesting read on these two girls. I don't know if there's ever been another happening like this, but very, very interesting. I don't know if they've ever, now, hopefully they get into it at the end, maybe where the one will say what was going on and why they retreated into this world with just the two of them, okay? So on that note, I'm going to leave this here. Oh my goodness, just such an odd story. I'm going to go watch the rest of it.